plate umpire, Tim McClellan, with the bat in his hand. Now they're going to measure it across home plate.
I've never seen this.
I never have either.
I don't know what they're measuring. They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, the Yankees win. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out and having to be forcibly restrained from hitting plate umpire Tim McClellan. And the Yankees have won the ball game 4-3. Brett is called out for using an illegal bat. Or with the illegal substance on the bat.
Like I said, I have seen this before, Frank, and Gaylord Perry just took the bat away from the home plate umpire, Jim McClellan. He's going to take the bat. They're going to take it, so they cannot take it into the American League office.
Hi, and welcome to the Baseball Show. With me is Mr. Baseball himself, John Weeks.
I'm here.
Looking like a cat that swallowed a canary. Why is that, John Weeks, Mr. Baseball?
Cat that swallowed a canary.
Isn't that an old term? As
Yeah,
I
it
lower
is.
my seat to hide my rapid gain, my weight gain.
I should put mine down to the floor.
I had a vest on earlier today for your show, the baseball show, which will be on at 8:30.
Right.
Yeah, a rerun.
Yeah, I got some people that are planning to watch it.
Yeah, so maybe we shouldn't talk about Giancarlo Stanton, since you talked about him on the on your show.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you know, pay $30 million a year for a 268 career hitter. A guy that's only exceeded 80, let's put it this way, let's say 87 RBI twice in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds a little like Jacoby Ellsbury. Has a guy that's been injured. Let's see what he...
They're trying to unload him, the Yankees.
250 played in 74 games in 2015 and 119 games in 2016. Yeah. Why did he miss all those games?
He was supposedly hurt, but I didn't follow each team in the National League as closely as I do the American League. But he was hurt. He's another Ellsbury.
In 2014, he had his best year until this year.
Yeah.
A lusty 288, 37 taters, which led the National League, which is one of the reasons they decided to start juicing the ball, I'm sure.
Right.
You know, with just 37 taters, that's going back to the 70s.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
You know.
Yanks unloaded.
How come I can hear something like,
You did this morning also.
I wonder what that is?
I don't know.
Did you ever think that we could, you know, it's the calendar year's starting. We have to put our $50 in because I'm a disabled veteran and you're an old timer. So,
An old buzzard.
an old buzzard, which I feel like 110 years old, which is until he had 132 RBI. No, he never even had 110 RBI. He had 105. I'd say, you know, the guy's a little suspect. Although he's only 27 years of age.
Yeah, 28, I thought they said.
He'll be 28,
Yeah.
which is the year you start grinding out MVPs. Usually an MVP hits their stride around 27 or 28.
Right.
Yes.
Now, the Yankees unloaded Chase Headley today.
Well, they also unloaded Starlo, what's his name?
Starlin
Castro Starlin.
That was on the Stanton deal. But,
Yes.
But catch this.
Well, tell
Yankees
everybody
get-
who's this Glenn Hadley. I thought that was an actress back in the
Chase
90s.
Headley?
Yeah.
Third baseman of the Yankees. But they got him from San Diego.
Headley Lamar?
Yeah, Headley Lamar.
That's Eddie.
Lamar Headley. At any rate, they sent him back to San Diego with two minor leaguers that aren't really rated high. And guess what the Yankees got? An outfielder. What's with all these outfielders?
Okay, so he's the equivalent. Here's the people he's the equivalent of. Bob Horner. We brought Bob Horner up
Yeah,
because my father being a Braves fan, I remember Bob.
I do too.
Kevin Mitchell, another a product of the Bay Area, 47 taters. Was it 89 or 90? Brought him an MVP.
MVP,
and a couple
89.
years later, he was playing in fast pitch softball in the Bay Area League. So my friend played
89,
against
he was
him.
most valuable player.
Wally Post.
Oh, I remember him. Cincinnati Reds, way
Now,
back.
this is each player we get less and less likely. So the player he's most like through this is Bob Horner. Richard Hidalgo. Never heard of him.
Yeah, no, I've heard of him.
Chris Davis. Here's a guy after your own heart, I'm sure. Gus Zernial.
Oh, Gus.
Jeez,
Ozark Ike.
I've heard that name a billion times, but don't know who the hell he is,
He's
really.
an outfield with the Philadelphia Athletics.
When? 1910?
He was in the 50s.
50, so you
Yeah.
would remember him. There's a guy you'd think was the top player in all baseball,
Yeah,
right?
Ozark Ike, they called him.
Josh Hamilton,
Yeah, that's
forgotten.
yeah, that was a sad story there with his. He had a drug
Preston
problem.
Wilson,
Preston Wilson doesn't ring a bell for some reason.
Josh Willingham,
Willingham, I've heard of. He was a.
and Glenn Allen Hill. Those are the
Oh,
10 players he most represents. Oh, he's just gonna be Lulu. He's gonna be the second coming of Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris combined. I bet he hits 134 home runs in one season and beats both Maris, who still has the single season record in the American League.
Yeah,
He'll beat-
Stanton even said that.
He's going to beat in one season both Maris and Mickey Mantle's 1961 output. What do you think of that?
Well,
Probably the entire thing of Murderers Row from 1927. One season.
if that happened,
You shoot him up with
that'd
those
be the
good.
story of the century.
You shoot him up with those good Peds from the Bronx. There's no telling what he could do. Maybe a dinger again, huh?
Yeah, who knows?
Geez, whoever thought, I remember watching different things. You never thought they'd be surpassed.
No,
I'm sure in another lifetime, I probably saw Babe Ruth set the single season slugging record, which everybody said was there with DiMaggio's 56 games. That would never be surpassed. And guess what it was?
by himself. You mean?
By Barry Bonds. With a little help from the folks in Belco.
But he didn't hit
Yeah, he
56
slugged-
straight.
He slugged over 860.
Oh,
Nobody
oh.
ever thought that Babe Ruth, 21 when he hit the 59 taters,
Yeah,
How long-
1921.
like 16 triples, all these doubles. Nobody would ever outslug the Babe. His career slugging is 690.
Oh, I know.
But Barry Bonds did.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Esposito had 70 goals. Whoever thought that would be broken?
Yeah.
It was.
It was by the great Gretzky.
We live since the 90s, the people, the owners, wanted to turn, the big owners, the big boys, is Gene Shepard, who wrote A Christmas Story, but he wrote a lot more. He's actually born in 1921, so the story they set in the movie at 1940. It would have been about 1930. His father was always convinced, he was a White Sox fan, They were from right next to Gary, Indiana, White Sox territory, south side of Chicago.
Okay.
Steel mill. In the 1930s, the White Sox would continually lose 100 games until a certain shortstop arrived around, when you know his name.
Chico Carrasquel.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He hit 388.
Oh, Luke Appling?
Luke Appling arrived sometime like after the 30s.
Yeah. He won a batting championship in the
two-
early 40s.
Two of them. Two.
Did
Yeah.
he win two?
He arrived in the 30s. But the old man of the stories, and Gene Shepard, was always convinced the big boys were behind everything. And one of the things he said, you'd never think the big boys would let the White Sox win the pennant. You know, they've only won 2 World Series in all that time.
Yeah.
Or is it 3? They won in 17. Oh, they won one. Did they ever win one in the aughts?
They
Have they won 3 or just
They,
2?
nothing in the 20s. Oh, they won the 1906 World Series against the Cubs.
So, all those years.
The Hitless Wonders.
117 years, and they've won 3 World Series.
Yeah.
That
In
must be a record in futility.
2005, I believe they.
I know we're getting
Yeah.
off this, but well, how many did the Cubs ever win?
They've won 1, 2, 3.
So basically, being a Chicago fan, the Red Sox were,
The Cubs were in the
Were
World.
wor- they were
Cubs
worse.
were in the World Series 06, 07,
they threw the
08,
19.
and they won the 07 and 08.
Holy Hannah! I think we're in trouble now, Mr. Baseball.
I don't know.
I don't talk about politics anymore.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yes, but the politics of baseball. Getting back, the big boys would never let the White Sox win the World Series. I mean, get the pennant. They were never going to win the World Series in the 30s.
Yeah.
But here are the big boys stripping a franchise, which seems to love to be stripped, to the bone. The guys that took that team over, including Mr. Derek Jeter, who, incidentally, did you hear the story? You know, here we go. An ownership team takes over the Miami Marlins. This must be, how many have they had?
Right.
And they said to their investors, they paid an ungodly amount of money for this team.
Oh, I know.
Nobody thought it was worth. I mean, it was unbelievable, the amount of money. That they're going to cut the payroll down to $55 million. How can anybody can be competitive?
You can't.
With $55 million. So what are they up to, Mr. Baseball? So there's Derek Jeter. He's part of this. Joel Elber himself, the honorable
Joe Elber.
said that Derek Jeter was going south to strip that team and bring Giancarlo Stanton to the Bronx. So the big boys were talking about. Oh yeah, did you hear? They've already got the stonemason out with Derek Jeter's monument, and they're putting in something new, Mr. December.
Okay, here's
Mr. December for sending Giancarlo
okay,
to the
but
Bronx.
in all fairness to Jeter, he tried to unload him on San Francisco and the Cardinals, and
Jeter's not the person.
Stanton had a little list, and I understand the Red Sox weren't even on it. He would have turned that down. So he turned down the Cardinals, Giants, and they said, "Will you go to the Yankees?" He said, "Yes, it's on my list." And he,
Yeah, he had a no trade clause.
yeah, and I think he's got a contract that goes forever. It's crazy. Well into the 20s. Good gravy. Time flies.
You remember Arnold Johnson?
Yo, the owner?
The owner. That's a good way of putting him. What did he own in the Bronx?
Oh, I don't know what he owned in the Bronx.
He owned the lease to Yankee Stadium.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
I did not.
You didn't know that he was that close with Dan Topping and Del Webb,
No.
who bought the Yankees after World War II from Colonel
Rupert.
Rupert's family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he bought, after the 54 season, he bought a baseball team called the Kansas City
City.
Athletics.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, Kansas City, before the Athletics moved there, was the
Philadelphia.
territory Philadelphia Athletics moved there after Connie Mack's family.
Yeah.
They'd sold it, and it was taken there. Kansas City was in New York Yankees territory. And interestingly enough, after Arnold Johnson bought the Kansas City Athletics, it became a New York Yankees territory again. What was Arnold Johnson famous for doing? I think we mentioned one of the players that he shipped from Kansas City to New York.
Roger Maris.
Yes, Roger Maris was. I think they traded him for a gross of used jock straps, include Don Larson.
Oh, that was a different trade. Larson then came from the Orioles or the St. Louis Browns, whatever you want to
No,
call it.
well, he shipped Don Larson to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, later. Then he ended up with the Giants and actually won a World Series game.
You think that had anything to do with the Yankees maintaining that incredible record of Mr. Casey Stengel from 49 to 60? Let's see, 49 to 60 is 12 years, and he won 10 pennants and 7 World Series. Although, is it Danny Murtaugh? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Murtaugh of the Pirates.
Yes, you've never forgiven for Danny, a 2-time World Series winner. He beat Earl Weaver, too, in 71 with his team. There's Casey.
There he is.
Notice I put Mets colors. There's a little orange behind the baseball shot. That's Ringo. It was his 75th birthday in 1964. I guess the Beatles had just played in Shea Stadium. We're going to.
He was 75 and 64?
Yes, he was born in 1899.
Okay. The left-handed dentist, he would have been.
Geez, they don't have right here all the people he sold.
Oh, there were quite a few.
It's the big boys. And everybody forgets to know that Colonel Rupert put one of his friends bought the Red Sox. What was it, 1918? Preceded Harry Frazee, a good friend of Colonel Rupert, who had no connection with Boston whatsoever, and decided to strip mine that team for the Colonel. And there was no amateur draft, was there?
No, not
so the Yankees could basically hoover everybody up, as they'd say in England, vacuum them up with bonuses.
Oh, yeah. That was big back then. But a bonus was maybe $1,000, $1,500.
I'm getting on the frame. Hey, so Charlie Finley, now I'm all the way over here. Charlie Finley buys the Kansas City Athletics in 1959, into the 60 season.
Right.
Then there is the amateur draft starts at 65. What happened to all the pennant, that string of pennants after that?
For who?
For the New York Yankees.
The Yankees?
Did it stop?
Well, after 64, it stopped until 76.
Yes, it stopped because the big boys couldn't rob Kansas City.
No, you're right about that.
And raid everybody like a panty raid.
Yeah, the old joke was that Kansas City was the Yankees' farm team, and it was,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They got whatever they wanted. I remember they sent Bob Serve over there in a trade. Then they decided they wanted him back. They came back to the Yankees.
I guess that's why finally they finally forced Arnold Johnson to sell the team.
Yeah.
Then they got Charlie Finley.
Yeah, character. Of course, he moved to that franchise to Oakland, and then the new expansion Royals team came in.
Then he wanted to move the team to Toronto. Or Denver.
I think it was
Charlie Finley.
I think it was Denver.
Oh, it was Horace Stoneman that was going to move the Giants to Toronto. They always were competing, Denver and...
I didn't know that, but I knew they were talking about moving the Giants up toward Sacramento in that area, but...
No, that was later. That was in the 80s.
Oh, I know. It wasn't that far back. But that's a move I don't think would go well. Who knows? Who knows what the fan base would be? San Francisco got the good ballpark, the history. And then they wanted 10, 12, and 14 of this decade, or this century.
They won 3 World Series.
Yeah.
after not winning any from 58 through 2009, even with Barry Bonds.
Yeah. Yeah, they lost the...
They did not bring the winning touch from New York, having only 62 of the World Series. Then they won a pennant in 71. And then
Not
they
the
went in
Giants.
89. The San Francisco Giants.
No.
71, they won half a pennant.
Oh, you mean the division?
A division, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because the Pirates won the
With
pennant.
Gaylord Perry pitching, and they promptly traded him away for Sudden Sam McDowell, who then went to the can.
Yeah, he went down quickly. He could bring it, though, when he was pitching. When he was pitching well,
Yeah.
he could throw that ball. Good heat.
Oh, yes, he's one of the first people to go above 9 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Yeah.
But he was through
Yeah,
by
he
the
was.
time he got to the Giants.
Yeah.
And Gaylord Perry traded away because he was 34 years old,
I know.
went on to win another Cy Young Award.
That's so dumb.
Look at, though, his brother had gone from Cy Young, Jim, in 1970, till he was in the can after that.
Yeah, and he played
went
for
down.
Minnesota a lot.
That was Tommy John's curse, huh?
Yeah.
Like a 2 ERA and 12 wins.
Yeah.
So did, we were talking last week about Tom Seaver. I remember he'd have like a 2.14 ERA. He'd lead the National League, 290 strikeouts, 14 and 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it could be 20. Then they'd win one year.
Yeah.
He'd win 25 games.
And that was kind of Ryan's career. He was
Right.
3 or 4 over 500 every year.
Ryan was never the pitcher that
No, but he
Tom Seaver was.
Oh, good gravy, no.
Tom Seaver had control. He was like Roger Clemens.
Tom Seaver was a pitcher. He won well over 300 games, and I know Ryan did also.
308 for a crappy team.
Yeah,
He was the franchise.
yeah, he was.
It's funny, though, he got driven out of New York by a sports writer, Dick Young,
Yeah, they traded him to Cincinnati.
which everybody thought, now Tom's going to rack up more 25-game seasons. But they had already gotten rid of, the Big Red Machine got rid of Tony Perez. They never won after getting rid of Tony.
No.
They won one half of a pennant in 79, and then Rose left after that because they wouldn't
Yeah,
give him a million.
Rose went to the Phillies. Yeah.
Oh, the Phillies offered him $1 million a year. He was the first $1 million a year player. What was he? 39 or 38. Take the money and run.
Oh, absolutely.
Year before, he'd hit 44 straight games.
Hmm.
The National League record if we keep Wee Willie Keeler out. Was it Sliding Billy Hamilton?
Yeah.
it was Willie
Willie
Keeler.
Keeler hit 44 straight.
No, now they say it's 45.
Oh, do they? They
Yeah.
went back to the records and pulled one out of the bag somewhere?
Well, they keep going over the stuff,
I know. It was like Hack Wilson got the extra RBI.
They took a win away from old Haas Radborn. He went from 60 to 59. Now, I don't approve of them taking away a batting title from Ty Cobb because that was. We won't go into that.
Yeah, that
But
was,
let's say, folks, baseball's always been full of chicanery.
Oh, yeah.
Either the owners, the players, the gamblers, the players, the owners. So Marvin Miller didn't make it to the Hall of Fame, huh?
No, he didn't.
The person after Babe Ruth and Kennesaw Mountain Landis who had the greatest effect on baseball was Marvin Miller, the man who created the baseball players.
Oh,
Union.
absolutely.
It's ridiculous. Sports writers should not. But it wasn't the sport. Who was on that committee? You're talking about George Brett and all those guys. They owe every hubcap on their Testarossa. They own every nut and bolt on their mistress's Mercedes to Marvin Miller.
Oh, absolutely.
Who was on that committee?
I have no clue, but he made money for everyone, including himself.
So all these SOBs, they just turned their back to him?
A lot of them did, yeah.
Hey, you know what? To hell with them,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's just Stanton and this. We were talking that there's fewer balls put into play in the history of baseball. There's never been fewer baseballs put into play. It's either a home run or a strikeout.
Oh, yeah.
And since everybody goes for strikeout, that's why they're bringing this stud up from Miami to the Bronx. That they don't need any more power hitters.
No,
they need
don't.
more pitching.
Yeah.
That's why you can, like that staff in L.A., you just start throwing breaking balls at these guys. Judge can't hit a good curve.
Well, yeah.
He tries, and he's certainly got the talent that if his shoulder heals, to catch up and learn maybe.
Yeah.
But I've seen him going after curves.
Oh, those sliders outside did him in last season.
Jeez, you know.
He went. My God.
What'd he do? This guy's. How much does your new hero Stanton strike out every season, on average? Is he one of these record setters?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
What are you going to bet? A cup of coffee? Don't you owe me
There are
a
a lot
cup of coffee?
I probably owe you two. There are many players that have strike out over 100 times a season now, but none
You
200.
think?
Not 200 like
Oh, there's
Judge.
plenty of 200s.
Well,
In the old days.
There have been.
Boy.
How many?
Where are they? No, his top strikeouts were 170. The year he hit the 37 taters.
He
He had
whipped,
hundreds. Oh, Jesus.
he whipped 170 times?
You see, because we're talking about a Jacoby Ellsbury type of player now. He got 100 games when he was age 20. Well, you know, maybe he come up late. Then he played 150, 123, 116, 145, 74, 119. Jeez, this guy.
Yeah.
And you're okay, you know. You guys never learn.
We never learned.
So in a 162 game season, he averages 44 dingers, taters, circuit clubs, home runs, 110 RBI, and strikes out 187 times.
It's a lot of whiffs.
But see, he's never even got near 162 games, except last year 159,
Okay.
and his sophomore year 150. Hey, the deal is looking better for Red Sox Nation as we look at it.
I don't think so.
Well, yes, you do. You needed somebody to replace Judge. He's out.
What do you mean he's out?
He had shoulder problems. I do.
Excuse
I'm
me.
not 20. He came up
Yeah.
rather late for a rookie, didn't he? He's like 25.
Yeah, but he went to college.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that.
He turned down a draft. He was drafted by some club, and he turned it down, and he went to San Jose State.
Which. Why would he go to San Jose State?
It's like a minor league. You might as well
It's
get
not- it's
get
not
it,
up
your
there.
education and get your ball playing in.
That's right, folks. See, he didn't go to one of the top schools like Arizona because, you know, he wanted to get his education.
Because he lived in that
And now,
area.
you know, this guy who's just set a record of what baseball starts in 1871, well, 1860s. Let's say professional baseball, we'll go to 1893
All right, let's
with
go.
60 feet 6 inches. So that's a 8 season, 125 years. He hit 52 dingers. Here's a guy that's not even at one of the top schools, and he comes late. Jeez, you know. Nothing goes off. There's no flags there, huh? Jim Rice won his first MVP when he was 25 years old. When he had first person since Joe DiMaggio in the American League to get 400 total bases, which was difficult in those days.
Yeah.
He hit 46 taters, 315, 15 triples, 200 hits. You know, he's
Yeah.
25. He had come up when he was 22 years old. Yaz went to Notre Dame. He came up when he was 22.
Yeah.
By the time he was 24, he'd won his first batting title.
Yeah.
And he didn't win his MVP until he was 28. So, you know,
Yeah.
late bloomer. So here's a kid that, you know,
So,
Yes, you know,
I don't know what you're doing.
everything's up to date in the Bronx.
wait, what's San
This
Jose
isn't what
State
this-
has a great baseball
Since
program.
when? I was up in the Bay Area.
Remember the little college in Malibu?
Oh, you mean
begins with a
Pepperdine.
P. Pepperdine. They won
Yeah,
a
you know,
national
I was-
championship in baseball.
You know, I didn't realize it was Malibu until I was sleeping out with we were on the beach and the campus flooded.
Oh, really?
You know, what is it? It's Zuma. Well, it is Malibu. Then when you're going up to Zuma.
Pepperdine used to be down in South L.A. in a terrible section, so they moved it out to the.
Folks,
Malibu.
you know, when you think about Malibu and these places, they're not exactly the guy. They're worth an ungodly amount of money. But
Oh, they are.
it's a nice beach, but
Oh, it is.
Jesus, the stuff that costs like $8 million bucks.
Oh,
It would cost there. God knows.
right on the water. That fire almost leaped over Pacific Coast Highway.
Jesus.
Somehow they contained it not to hit those beach homes all along that strip.
They're not very impressive. This home. The colony's impressive.
Yes,
Malibu colony.
that is
That's a
very
nice
nice. They got some money there.
Always did.
Barbara Streisand. You can name one after the other that live there. Great, great homes and beautiful homes. Nice area.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much of a threat from fire and
Traffic is can be
Yeah.
bad or good depending on the day.
Well, it's
How
all-
come we're in Malibu suddenly? Because we'd like to be there rather than here.
Well, we were talking about Pepperdine, so.
San Jose State. Yeah.
Yeah,
He got his education, folks.
they beat SC in football.
So I always think these people do go to college, and that is like the minor leagues. Yeah.
Oh, it
And
is.
if they're really talented, they come right up.
There are a lot of them that do. I'm not saying it's a minor league system, but they play 60, 70 games. So you're getting, and you've got
I
quality.
know. I used to go watch I used to watch Stanford play.
I saw them play against USC. At USC.
You have stories. Tell the camera.
Dado
While I
Field.
look up Aaron Judge.
Okay.
His minor
well,
league stats.
yeah.
And we get the skinny on him. Tell us about those days. You had no guilt in the 50s, robbing poor Kansas City of everything.
Oh.
Camera on Mr. Baseball. Mr. Baseball, look at whatever camera there is, you know.
Okay. Well,
Give us some,
Well, I saw Mark McGuire and Randy Johnson pitch a doubleheader for the Southern California Trojans against Stanford, and they both won. And McGuire, believe it or not, was a very good pitcher, but he had power, so they moved him around to third base.
there's no way the guy with that physique.
They
is
had a
gonna be
kid named
pitcher.
Seensoth one year who was just tearing the cover off the ball, but unfortunately he got killed in a car accident when he was 21. But he was headed to the majors without any question. So you can have some good years in college and it's a get-going process. You might spend a little time in the minor leagues, but there are players that have jumped. Well, we talked about Bob Horner last week or the week before, and you didn't realize he went to Arizona or Arizona State.
Oh, I always thought he came up just as a kid.
Yeah.
What's the most homers that Aaron Judge hit in the minors?
I have no clue. 20-something, was it?
20.
20?
Yeah, not exactly somebody you'd be projecting to hit 52 home runs.
Oh, who would? No.
No.
Nobody would know
No,
that.
you think a 6'7" guy, which is your standard apologia, or is it apologia? We would need the well-educated Jim O'Connell or Glenn R.J. Alette, who's on the other side of the wall, to properly pronounce that word. Your apologia for this unprecedented achievement, except Mark McGuire came close, Mr. Peds himself,
Yeah.
and other than Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
Big Poppy.
You
Let's
said
cover
you like
everything.
the 6'7" guy. They still play with metal bats in the minor leagues.
I don't know.
They do college ball.
Yeah, college they do.
They were doing it in the minors, at least
Yeah.
back in the 90s.
I think they're getting away from it, going back
Yeah,
to...
because the pitchers wouldn't pitch inside when
Yeah.
the guys. And then they had these composite bats. The thing was, in the minor leagues, we didn't want to have to pay for wooden bats because they broke.
Yeah.
What they wanted to do was have people hitting dingers to get some fannies in the seat. So here's a guy who's 6'7" tall, which is the reason why, he's hitting 52 dingers in the major leagues against major league pitching. He's not hitting more than 20 home runs in the minor leagues.
How many games?
124. And then when he was 22, he had 131 games in A and A+. He had a lusty 17.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've seen that happen. The
Yeah.
players, they get a little more bulk as they get older.
Oh, a little more bulk.
Absolutely. And they...
Yeah, at the age of 24, he got up to AAA, played 93 games, and hit 19 taters in 93 games. I guess he bulked up.
Well, since... Then he came to the Yankees.
Yeah. Then he
a little
really
bulkier.
bulks up, huh?
285 pounds.
Oh, I wonder what bulks you up.
Yeah. Not Peds. He wouldn't get away with it. We go through this every
Oh,
show.
no, nobody would get away from it. Has anybody been convicted of peds in the United States of America except in baseball? Has anybody? Other sports, yes. You know what,
That-
Mr. Baseball? Do you honestly think baseball has the regime that bicycling does, or field sports,
Whoa.
running? Do you?
What about that perennial winner of the Grand Prix every year that had everything stripped
Talking
from him
about
for
bicycling?
pads?
Bicycling?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't get things stripped from you in baseball, do you?
Oh, they can.
Or would they strip from anybody?
Well, you know that guy that used to...
Would they take away his jock strap?
The guy that was playing for the Yankees, came up with the Yankees, Cabrera, and he was leading the National League in hitting when he got caught with pads. And his teammate ended up winning it, the catcher. And that was just a couple years back, and he apologized. He got caught, so they do test them.
Do you really think that it's as strenuous as Olympics? Because I know that it's not. It's not strenuous.
Oh, I never said it was.
So what's the point? They do test. They tested Barry Bonds how many times?
Well, it stays in your system a little longer than 3 days, believe me.
Barry Bonds, they gave them 3 weeks. The office, they knew it was coming down.
Well,
You know what? They put Bud Selig, the baseball writers, or whoever does the Hall of Fame voting, they put Bud Selig right in the Hall of Fame. A disgusting used car salesman who was a liar, oversaw a worst scandal since the Black Sox scandal.
yeah. He's in the Hall of Fame.
It's not a...
Because he was a commissioner.
No.
It wasn't because he owned the Milwaukee Brewers, that's for sure.
Why is he in the Hall of Fame? I have no idea. I have no idea where those jackasses who vote for the Hall of Fame put a jerk like that in. Why would Bowie Kuhn, a carbuncle on the anus of the world, can you get? I don't know if you can get carbuncles there, and I hope to never find out. I don't even know what a carbuncle is. But Bowie Kuhn was a carbuncle on the anus of the world. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have that jerk William Eckert, the Lieutenant General. Throw him in, too.
Yeah.
Who was the commissioner from 65 to 69.
Happy Chandler, Kennesaw, you go right up the ladder. Ford Frick, I'm sure they're all in the Hall of Fame. Most of them, anyway. But, you talk about the Hall of Fame. What have they done? What did they do? Joe Torre got a great ball club when he came to the Yankees.
He won 4 World Series championships.
What did he do with the
How many?
Mets and the Cardinals?
What did Girardi do with the Yankees? What did
won.
Girardi do with the Yankees?
He won a World Series.
What?
Yeah,
In 10 years?
yeah.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
They had them in the playoffs every year. They just didn't have the. They just didn't have
Oh,
that little
no,
mustard.
they just didn't have it, you know.
No, they didn't. They didn't have Bernie Williams and Tino Martinez.
No, they give them all the players, bust the salary cap. But no, Joe Torre's just a bum, like him. He's just a bum. How many people have won 4 World Series?
Not many. Not many.
Did
John McGraw.
Did Tony La Russa win 4 World Series?
No. 3, I think.
Did Tommy Lasorda win 4 World Series?
No.
Did Earl Weaver win 4 World Series?
No, he didn't win 4. He won
What?
70 against
What?
Cincinnati.
He went in pretty early too.
Yeah.
They threw his buns right in there.
So why
Who went in before they threw in Earl Weaver? Can't even think of a manager that had been put in years before him. Can you? Oh yeah, I can think of some. Think of him. Think of a guy that had an incredible record.
Yeah.
An incredible record. His team from 51. You already know, because I said, look at him. From 51 to 60, about 60, came either first or second every year. And it was more than 10. I think it was like 15 years he had a
and
stretch.
I
But
suppose
it's like 49 to 63. And that was he was put in, and you know his name. Who was the manager?
of what team?
There was a manager who from around 1949 to about 1960,
Casey Stengel?
look into the baseball eye. There was
Oh, the great Casey
an American League manager from 15 years, from about 49 to 63. His team came in first or second every time. He won 1 World Series and 2 pennants.
And what was his record with the Braves? Are they going to erect a statue in Boston?
We're talking about Al Lopez.
Lopez never won first or second.
Al Lopez was the Chicago. He was with
Cleveland.
Cleveland and the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah. And he didn't win a World Series.
He won a World Series in '54, didn't he?
No. Giants
Oh.
swept Cleveland that year.
I'm trying to give him the 48. He wasn't the manager of the 48.
No, he wasn't the manager.
I'm trying. That's why I'm taking it to 15.
Lou Boudreau was the manager in
I
48.
extended it too far.
Yes, you did.
He wasn't it. That's right. He only won 2 pennants.
Yeah, and they lost both World Series.
Right.
He lost in 59 to the L.A. Dodgers.
That's the thing. I wanted to give him the 48. That's why I'm going from 48 to like, Jesus. When did the friggin' White Sox finally? When Nellie Fox finally fell.
Let's think about Walter Alston. 55, 59,
He might have won 4.
63.
63 and 65, so he won 4.
Yeah, he won 4.
But they're very rare.
Yeah.
But isn't it, Lopez did bring his 2 teams in first or second for the entire time, Casey Stengel's team. And he's the only one his teams are the only ones that won, that weren't the Yankees.
Right.
But 51, that's right, he took over in 51. He took over the
Cleveland Indians, yeah.
And then it was in Chicago, because he had Larry Dolby on his bench.
That's right. Yep.
But how did they do in the 50? How long did the 59 World Series run?
Went 6 games.
You went to?
I didn't go.
You were in Los Angeles and you didn't go?
I wasn't in L.A. I got to L.A. about 2 months after the World Series. But Larry Sherry won 2 and saved 2. And it was...
You're talking about the Dodgers.
Koufax lost a game 1-0. And what's his name? Early Wynn pitched a shutout in the first game.
Don Drysdale, did he win?
He wasn't in the series.
I bet he was.
I don't know if he
I'll
started.
bet you Don Drysdale was in the World Series that year.
He might have been. Koufax pitched a game, so maybe Drysdale
Mr.
did.
Baseball, what's become of you? Are you drinking too much coffee?
No, too much beer.
Am I looking up Don Drysdale?
The Big D.
Christ, he started in 56?
Yeah, with the Dodgers.
See, I got 56.
Brooklyn.
Did I look up Sandy Koufax?
They both came from Brooklyn. Or both.
Jesus,
Played
he was
in
the
Brooklyn.
56 World Series.
Yeah.
And 59.
Yeah, what did he start, or how many innings did he have?
I thought you knew everything. He was in one game in 56 and pitched 2 innings.
Okay.
He started the game in 59 and went 7 innings. He gave up 11 hits.
Then he became
Only
good.
a 1.29 ERA. How can you? You scatter your hits, right?
Yeah.
As long as they don't score, they're going to give you earned runs, or they can be on errors.
Robin Roberts gave up 14 hits and pitched a shutout.
You got to be kidding.
No, I know that blows my mind.
He was a great pitcher.
How could you
forgotten.
How can you give up 14 hits? Well, 2 here.
He won about the same amount as Rapid Robert Feller. Didn't he win about 260 games?
Yeah, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. Nobody talks about him anymore.
No. They talk about the Robin Roberts that's on Good Morning America.
They talk about Alan Trammell and Jack Morris, those 2 sterling additions to the baseball Hall of Fame. Wow, Jack Morris revolutionized pitching, and Alan Trammell, was he a second base or shortstop?
Shortstop.
That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember.
And Whitaker was a second baseman, and they hold the record for most years together. Years together. Huh?
Is Whitaker in?
No, and
we should have gone in together.
Trammell thinks he should be in, and it'll be another old timers committee or something that'll get him in if he gets in.
I think it's all a bunch of crap.
They hold the record.
Holy Hannah! I have to. Robin Roberts. Didn't the Phillies just SUCK? Look at this.
But he
1,
went
2,
20s.
3, 4, 5, 6 times. 6 straight seasons, a 20-game winner.
Oh yeah,
He went 28-7
in the 50s.
in 52 at the 25 years of age.
Yeah.
And he'd already won 21 twice for that. Then he led the league with 23, 23, and 23. Then he went 19 and 18, leading the league.
19
losses.
and 18.
And then he went 10 and 22. How come they didn't, 286 and 245? Forgotten.
Yeah.
Except outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I tell you, Giancarlo Stanton's going to be a bust. I'm pointing my finger. What happened to all our close-ups? I'll point it at you, though. Look into the eyes, the oracle of baseball. And I do have the oracle of baseball thing, but our director is probably off, doing something with her car or something. Look into those eyes.
Oh, I'm looking.
Stanton is going to be a bust. You got the worst fielding catcher in all of baseball. You'd have to go Mark Sullivan, Haywood Sullivan's son, to get somebody as bad as that. And now you don't have Buckethead.
Who's Buckethead?
Calling the pitches for him. The former catcher that for 10 years was
Posada?
the manager of the Yankees.
Oh, Girardi.
Buckethead.
Girardi. Yeah.
I'm surprised. What we have is this slob ball. It's all or nothing, just home runs. Baseball's worse than ever. It used to get exciting. It used to change. Now it's just hit a dinger. Nobody steals a base. Remember what they said about Jackie Robinson and when the Negroes came to the National League, how exciting it was because they stole bases. They took it back to the pre-Babe Ruth era with Ty Cobb. Who my father said, everybody used to talk about Ty Cobb in the 20s.
They were exciting ball players.
People would steal bases. They pressure pitches to make errors.
Monty
Irvin,
Willie Mays, they had some great
Not anymore.
ball players.
Just get somebody up there and hit the tater.
Yeah, we don't pay them to bunt. We pay them to hit the ball.
Well, Reggie Jackson
set the table.
Reggie Jackson had in 1970, was it 77 or 78? He had the highest salary in the major leagues, and he decided he was a bunter and not a home run hitter.
Oh,
boy, did that drive! That probably contributed more than anything.
That was totally intentional.
I can't remember when it happened, but Billy.
I actually saw it on the TV today. I was watching the Major League channel.
I was watching with my mother the game where he dropped the baseball or didn't bother to play, and then Billy was going to. Everybody thought Billy was going to kill him, or he was going to be killed by. Remember?
Yeah.
When Billy attacked him? That was during a Red Sox.
That's
game.
what surprised me the most was Barra was in the dugout. What was he doing with the Yankees?
He was the outfield coach. He had a walkie-talkie. He used to position the outfield.
Okay,
They gave us all this
I forgot about
managing by committee. You don't even have a manager that's ever managed a Major League Baseball game.
that. So do the Red Sox.
We're not talking about the Red Sox.
I'll talk about any team. There are
We're
five.
talking about the most hated team in America.
Five.
New York Yankees.
5 new managers who never had any managerial experience
What does that tell
whatsoever.
you about? What does that tell you about what baseball's become?
It's changed.
It's corporate. It's a corporate sport.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah. So now,
It's slob ball. You don't even have National League baseball to watch anymore because it's all turned into slob ball too. Because what they've done, they started around '94. They wanted to turn baseball into football, but they won't do what they share revenue. No, folks, they're not going to share revenue,
no.
but they're going to make it. An accountant's dream. You just put in the numbers. You got an accountant for a manager.
You like Oakland?
You can't have somebody like Billy Martin as a manager anymore who, like we say, put a line up in a hat or, is going to punch some guy that weighs 100 pounds more and makes 900 times more. Well, no, back then it was probably considerably more than he made, 10 times more.
Pinella.
You're not going to see stuff like that, are you?
No.
What did Pinella do?
Today, he said that Martin was the greatest manager that ever managed on the field.
That's not true, but he's definitely was an excellent one that
But
should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to say that. Come on, he just doesn't show it.
He improved every club he ever managed.
So he was better than Joe McCarthy.
McCarthy had Garrigan.
Oh yeah,
You
right.
got to go
and
with
we've already gone over that. Look at you can match the Red Sox up to the Yankees teams in the late '40s. The Red Sox had more.
Why
They had
did-
more hitting.
why
They
did-
had Joe McCarthy too. Who nearly
Why-
got them there.
why
He
did-
didn't drink them.
Why
What's it
didn't
called,
McCar-
riding the white horse?
Why didn't McCarthy bring Boston up to?
I finally got you to admit it after we saw the stats. Joe DiMaggio.
You mean the '49 season?
All those times.
Well, yes.
Joe DiMaggio was stepped up.
Yeah. The Yankees had the ball
The
players.
guy was in 10 World Series, Mr. Baseball. How many rings? Only one person had more rings than Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra.
Yogi.
How many fingers, if we include the thumbs, were covered by World Series championship rings on Joe DiMaggio's fingers?
Yeah. DiMaggio had
He
5
went
out of the
10.
first 6 years he was
He
in.
went 10 times. How many times did he win?
In the World Series?
Yes.
Well, he only missed in 55.
No, he was in 10 World Series. How many of those teams won the World Series?
8.
9.
No, because he lost in 60 and he lost in 55.
How could Joe DiMaggio lose on a team he wasn't on?
I'm talking about Stengel.
We're talking about Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, DiMaggio. Well, he was, he won 9 World Series. He missed in,
But that's the point. They had
42.
Joe DiMaggio.
he lost in 42, and that was it.
And those Yankees teams from 56 through 64 had Mickey Mantle, not Joe DiMaggio.
Mantle was, that was a great replacement. You got to admit that.
How many times did he win? They won in
With
56.
With Mantle, they won at
58.
51, 52, 53.
No, I'm talking about, I just said, without him, with him. We're getting rid of that team from the early part.
Oh,
From 56 on.
56 on, well, the Yankees.
He won 4 times.
Yeah, 56, 58,
61,
61,
62.
62.
So from 60 to 64, 5 times, they only won twice. And in the period from 56 to 58, they split. not quite Joe DiMaggio's years, right? He came up on that team and won 4
Yeah.
straight, and there were some spares, and then 3 straight from 40. They won 47, then 49. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
And there were only 8 teams in those years, not 16, 18 teams.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, you're not going to see teams win 4 straight anymore. It's going to be
5
so
straight.
rare. Oh, 5 straight. The Yankees are the only team in history that's been in a World Series 5 times in a row, twice.
That's right.
And they won it once, 49 through 53.
But we're just talking about what did they have. You keep saying that the Yankees won because nothing Stengel, because all the things they had. He was the manager.
You could have managed those teams.
You couldn't.
You could have.
Bucky Harris lost in 48.
Well, he was gone in 48 because they didn't win.
Yeah, but Bucky Harris lost in 48.
Well, he won the whole thing in 47.
Bucky Harris lost in 48.
Well-
J.C. Stengel won 5 straight World Series when he came in 49. You said I could, but Bucky Harris, who didn't he take the Washington teams in the 20s? He couldn't make them win in 48.
No. Well, the Yanks didn't have it in 48, apparently.
All I gotta say is look into those eyes. Stanton's gonna be a dud.
Yeah. Well, we'll
New
see.
Ellsbury. It's gonna be like Ellsbury and Teixeira all together.
We'll
Oh, jeez. It's gonna be a romp in the AL East.
see. I think it will be.
Yeah, the Red Sox are gonna whip ass.
Oh,
And you know I don't like to be
they
vulgar.
might whip their own.
I don't like to be vulgar. It's time for your bad karma to catch up with you.
Oh.
Hey, how much time do we have left? Well, I'm scoring all these points against Mr. Baseball.
1 minute.
You're like 30 seconds.
Oh, more.
30
Okay.
seconds. Well, folks, you heard it here first. Stanton is a bum, and the next time, if we ever come back, because, you know, it's the end of the year, there could be a snowstorm or anything, and I'm sure we're not going to be on over.
We're
all
off
of
Christmas
it.
week, I found out.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, but I probably won't be in legal jeopardy, though.
No, probably not.
So, we're going to baseball officially on this show, starting whatever show next, begins in 1969.
Sounds good to me.
And any player that wasn't playing in '69, they can go back, you know, as long as they want. Is cut out of every consideration, and that includes Mickey Mantle.
Well, Mantle was gone by 69.
Yes, he retired in spring training.
Yeah,
So this
68.
exciting new year of baseball is only going to start in 1969. We're going to make history. Now we just need to zoom into the eyes.
Oh.
Adios, dos vidania, and Cindy pour Mr. Baseball a beer because he's certainly going to need one.
Yeah.
Thinking what a bum Stanton is.
Oh, yes. What a bum. 60 round trippers and
59,
the
Mr.
World Series.